What is going on, guys? In today's video, we are ranking all of the MW2 maps up until, I believe, Season 2. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the tier list. As you can see, I have them all never played right now, but I went through and played each of the maps except for these weird ones at the bottom here because I have no idea even where you can play them. I think these are all like the giant maps where it's like 18 versus 18 or 10 versus 10 or whatever. So, yeah, I've not played any of those because I don't like playing those game modes. But the first one we are going to be judging is going to be Karachi. Now, I feel like Karachi is right there in the middle of Pact. Anytime you get the map, it's never like, oh yes or oh no. It's just like, oh hey, we're going into Karachi. It is what it is. Um, I do know for someone who plays hardpoint a lot, that first hill, our first point, is an absolute nightmare. You're getting shot from 30 different angles. It feels like you're in Vietnam. Like, it just, you can't survive if you're on that hardpoint. There's no shot. But other than that, it does have its good moments. It does seem kind of tedious sometimes with spawns in this game. Run across the whole entire map just to die and then do it again. That part's kind of annoying. But overall, I would say Karachi's kind of right there in the middle. It's not like a good map or like a super good map, but it's not like an absolute shithole map either. So that being said, falls right in the middle of the pack for me. All right, with all that being said, Karachi is a B. Next, we have Subbase. Now, Subbase to me is kind of in the same boat as Karachi. It's just kind of one of those fillers that is like, oh, we're going to Subbase. Like, I'm not like pumped about it, but I'm not disappointed either. I will say, I don't know if it's just me. I personally think Subbase on the new game is better than like the original MW2, which some people might hate me for that, but I just feel like it kind of flows a little bit better. The hardpoint is a little um, but I do honestly think that Subbase is a pretty decent map for this game. I've enjoyed it. I haven't really had any major complaints. Granted, I don't really play the competitive side, and I know at the competitive side they talk about a lot of issues. I think they had to actually take it out competitive for hardpoint. And with that being said, I'm gonna put Subbase right above Karachi. Now, the next map we have is Favela. Now, Favela, I'm just gonna say it, great map. I love all the different aspects of it. As annoying as people might think that like the multi-level like favelas are, I find it actually pretty fun. I never had any like, oh shoot, this is so stupid. This map layout is boring. It's always, I love it. I love the different ways you can maneuver around the map. There's so many different, like yes, there's three main lanes, but you can cut in and out a lot of them. It's super cool. I just also like the like aesthetic feel, especially in this game. It's super super bright, which is awesome. Instead of like pure brown doo doo garbage, it's actually quite enjoyable to look at. Yeah, there's so many different aspects I like about it. So creative with, and it feels like every aspect of the map is used, which is crazy because that isn't always the case. Like most of the time, in a lot of maps, it'll just be like the center area. But no, all of like even though Favela is a pretty large map, I feel like all of its aspects are used pretty well. So with that being said, Favela is going to be our first A tier. And the next on our list that we are going to be doing is going to be Afghan. Now, Afghan is one of those that I think honestly might have been better in the original MW2 days. Just with all the sniping and stuff, I think it was a lot more enjoyable. This one you can, but just not the same as the good old original OG sniping days. However, it does have its good aspects. The top of the plane that you can get on, it's always going to be nostalgia. Just being able to get up there, have some cool moments with your friends. Playing Infected, actually, in this newer game is quite fun on Afghan. But yeah, this map I've just always kind of find as an map. Uh, it's nothing great. I'm never really too excited to play on it. So yeah, without any further ado, let's see where we rank it. So Afghan, with all that being said, it's gonna be my first C list. Now, the next map we are going to be doing is going to be Derail. Now, Derail kind of falls into that same aspect as Afghan, where I'm never really too excited about it. There is one thing that I do like about it. It is the map to vote for when you need long shots. Because gosh darn, are you never having a close-up gunfight, it feels like. They're all at least 30 meters away, or however far it is. But gee willikers, this map is something I personally not a fan. It's okay for sniping, but it's not even like a fun sniping map. Like Afghan kind of is, Wasteland is. Derail is it's just eh. Like, other than long shots, I never want to play this map. That, to be truthful. Everyone's either in the main building or they're in La La Land with a sniper. Like, that's the only two play styles, really. With that being said, though, Derail, it does look a little bit better, in my opinion, on this one than MW2. But yeah, there's just not a lot going for it, unfortunately. And with that being said, Derail goes to D. I just can't. It is just a very map. Next, though, it's going to be a fan favorite, Rust. Now, Rust, everyone knows, is one of the most iconic 1v1 maps. It's super good. Everyone loves it. Anybody who doesn't love it, I honestly don't know what's wrong with you. I love this map in MW2. Love it in this current game. It's perfect in a lot of ways. The only thing that's a little annoying is if your team is like getting destroyed, you know it, because it is hard to sometimes break out of like certain spawn traps and things like that. But it's super fun for casual, and if you like playing in like super intense try hard. Super good in both aspects. It's one of my favorite maps. With that being said, Rust is going to be our first GOAT ranking. Now, Rio is the first of its kind. It's not a remake, to my knowledge, of any other map. But I still feel like this is a pretty good map. I play hardpoint a lot. I think all the hardpoints are super good. There isn't one that's like annoying or can't break. There's some that are a little challenging, but you can still break them. I feel like it flows well. You always get gunfights pretty fast. You're never just like wondering where people are. There isn't really a whole lot of downside I've had with this map. I feel like everything kind of flows well. Lots of different ways to get from point A to point B. So yeah. I think Rio, all around, super solid map, and I'm pretty glad they added to this game. With that being said, Rio is gonna be an A, right behind Favela. Now, the next one on our tier list that we're gonna be doing is the Raceway. Now, the Raceway was in a previous COD. It was in the very last one, actually, and they kind of re-added it. This map, I've always kind of felt about. It's pretty good for long shots, for like the outside racetrack area, and for like the main, like one way for the first hard point. I feel like it's really good for that. Other than that, it's kind of 50-50. I don't really have like any super likes or dislikes about it. I feel like this game, unfortunately, can never get close games. It's always like someone's destroying or someone's not. There are a few hard points too where I feel like I keep bringing up hard point. That's just why I play. But I feel like there are some hard points where it just takes a little bit from going from like spawn to one hard point, and then if you die, like in the process of getting there, you have to start all the way over, and by then it's like, dang, I should have just rotated, because there's 30 some seconds off the hard point already. But yeah, overall, it's kind of a mid map to me. Alright, with that being said, Raceway is going to be going right above Afghan. Then the next on our list that we are going to do is going to be Farm 18. So for Farm 18, I'm not going to say a whole lot just because I didn't record a whole lot for it. But super solid map. I enjoyed it in Hardpoint a lot. A lot of different angles. Great for long shots. Great close combat. I feel like there's a lot of action. Can't complain. So with that being said, Farm 18 is going to go at the top of B list. Now next we have, let's see if I can find it here. Wasteland is going to be next that we're ranking here. Now, Wasteland is one of the most iconic sniping maps. I think in Call of Duty history, whenever Wasteland comes on, you just know 3/4 of the lobby is sniping. One thing I do kind of like is in the newer game, you can actually do both, like sniping and like regular AR, SMG, whatever, and it works. Like there's a good balance between them. I feel like in this one. I think that's actually an improvement, even though, because the Wasteland, it was kind of 50-50. You would either have really good games or really bad games. It wasn't really like, oh yeah, it's another game or anything like that. But this one, I think, improved it a little bit. It still has its flaws. I think it's a little too open. Maybe they could add a couple more buildings, like in each of like the 4 quadrants, I guess. Like, obviously, there's stuff on the very outside, but I feel like if they put a little bit more in, it would have been pretty cool. But other than that, can't complain too much about this one. Alrighty, and with that being said, Wasteland is going to go on the top of my C list. Now, for the next one, we are going to be doing the iconic High Rise. Now, High Rise is obviously one of the most iconic maps out there. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows the cool things about it. Jumping off the crane, doing a 720 trick shot. Everyone knows about going on top of the building. This map has so many cool like ins and outs like that. But I feel like in this modern game, you don't really get to use those because obviously everyone knows about it. Like you might be able to sneak onto the crane on MW2 and do some crazy stuff. Here, everyone expects it. Same with the roof on top of the map. I don't think I've ever seen anyone up there. And it's actually easier to get up there, which is the weird part about it. And this one too, I feel like it used to flow a lot better. I feel like this one, it's with how they spawn, like how people spawn and stuff, it's so much easier to get spawn trapped. It's either that or maybe just people got smarter at the game. That's probably honestly what it is. So it makes the layout of the map not as good anymore, but it's still a fun map. Definitely like it. The only thing I do miss is nobody in this one pulls out a sniper right at the beginning to do the 4-man collat or anything like that. Everyone just sprints ahead. But other than that, really like this map. And with that being said, High Rise is going to go at the top of my B list. And now, from one iconic map to the next, we are going to be doing Terminal. I don't know why it won't go up front. Terminal. Now, Terminal is insanely iconic. It's one of the most remade maps. It has like 3 or 4 remakes, including in this one where they have like a Spore one, I think it is. Super good map. Love the layout. In this game, spawns, I think it's mostly just the spawns. Makes it a little finicky, but it still works out perfectly. The hard points aren't super terrible. They updated a couple of them, like some of the edges and stuff. Yeah, not too shabby. I love it still. It's one of the most iconic things ever. And with that being said, I'm going to put Terminal. Yeah, right behind Favela and above Rio in A tier. Now, the next that we have on our list is going to be Invasion. Now, Invasion is by far one of those maps that I think during the original MW2 was somewhat overlooked. Like, everyone thought it was a good map, but no one thought of it as, like, the good map, it feels like. But now, in my opinion, I feel like that's kind of changed. Like, it was always high-rise terminal, scrapyard, rust, um, and then these maps like Favela and Invasion, which everyone thought was good, I feel like kind of peaked in this game. I don't know if that was their goal with it or what, or maybe it just flows better in this game compared to the old ones. But I really like Invasion. I like a lot of people might not like it. I like all the different like angles you can get people at. Kind of keeps you on your feet. I also like just kind of the atmosphere. Like it actually feels like you're at war, which is pretty cool because a lot of maps try to do that and then it just doesn't work. It doesn't look pretty or it feels weird. I feel like this encapsulates a lot. You can snipe, you can use any weapon. There's long range or short range. There's stealth. You can play any sort of play style. With that being said, Invasion is going top of A tier. It's very close to GOATs, but it is top of A tier. The next one we are going to be ranking in our tier list is going to be this one right here, Scrapyard. Now, Scrapyard, everybody knows. It's been remade a few times. It's super good. It plays super well. Back in the old games, in this game, feels like every game Scrapyard just feels like it plays well. Um, I like how in this map it seems like you can kind of what's word go out and be like non worried about like people camping in one of the back buildings, especially the super tall one. There's someone in one of those windows. Surely it always felt like in one of the old games camping to try to get a nuke or something. This game, I've thankfully you don't really have to worry about that. It might happen here and there, which is fine. But it's not something that's like constantly on your mind that makes you not want to go through like the middle of the map or something like that. In this game, it flows super well. I haven't had any issues. Again, I only play hardpoint really. I feel like there's a lot of action, but it's not like too much where like you can't even kind of like do a strategy or anything. I think it's one of the more perfect maps. And with that being said, Scrapyard is going right behind Rust in the GOATs. The next one we are going to be doing is Mercado. Now, Mercado was in the last Call of Duty. Um, it it was a decent map. I never felt like it was anything like too crazy or too special. It definitely had its place, and I don't know. I didn't feel like it was right bringing it back. Maybe it was because it was too early, or I don't know what the case was exactly. But I just didn't feel like it belonged really. Um, but the map it still plays kind of the same way. Not necessarily great, but not bad at all. It's definitely one of those maps that you can enjoy playing every once in a while. But if you were to play it constantly, it would not be fun at all. Yeah, so there isn't really too much to say about Mercado, at least from what I play of it, which is mostly hardpoint. It's pretty decent. But with that said, let's see where we're gonna rank it. Alrighty, with all that being said, Mercado is gonna go on the top. Ooh, should I do top of C or bottom of B? I'm gonna put top of C. And then the next map that we are gonna be doing is Meat. Now, Meat was their kind of version of Shipment in this game, in the sense that they wanted a really small map that like they could put into a 24/7 playlist, things like that. And I was a little sketched at first on how to feel about it, but after playing it for some time now, I gotten used to the map a little bit more. I'd say I'd say Shimon's still better, but there are definitely aspects of this that are good. Uh, One of the bad things though is if you're losing, you are losing. Like you can sometimes just get absolutely obliterated, and it's not like Shipment where you can still do like okay, get some kills here and there. Like if you're getting destroyed in meat, you are getting destroyed by the meat. That's for sure. So overall, I like it. It's definitely one of the better maps in this game. At least for hardpoint, it's pretty fun to play. So yeah. With that being said, me is gonna go A tier, right above Rio. Now, the next one that we are doing on our tier list is gonna be Shoot House. Now, Shoot House is in the last Call of Duty. It was, or not the last one, but the original Modern Warfare. Wait, was that the Anyways, uh, super good map. In my opinion, it saved that game. It was the only reason I played it. Um, but Shoe House is a super good map. Super simple, but yet like effective layout. You never feel like you're getting absolutely destroyed. Uh, Always bunch of different angles. You can go for long shots. You can play close range, long range, any sort of weapon choice, any sort of play styles. They all work on this map, and yet it's small enough to where there's enough action, but not too much action. And that's one of the best parts about Call of Duty maps. There's a lot of action, but not too much. And this map does it perfect. So, with that being said, Shoot House is going right above Scrapyard and Goats. Now, the next one that we are going to be doing is Greece. Now, Greece is definitely an interesting map in the sense that they've tried to add like water kind of throughout the whole map and actually have people utilize it a little bit more. Because water's been a thing in basically all the maps in this game. The only thing is no one uses it. Like if there's water on the map, no one's using it. Uh, it's just kind of hard to fight in it and stuff. And they tried utilizing it in this, and I feel like the attempt was a little bit better. It wasn't great, but it actually creates a few different ways you could do stuff, which I think is cool that they tried it. Just a little unfortunate that I never mounted to much. But overall, the map design is pretty decent. You're always in interactions, it seems like. It's that good, uh, not small map, not large map, but the good medium sized map that you can do a lot in. And so, yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty solid map. Alrighty, and with that said, Greece is gonna go B right behind Subbase. And then the next one we are gonna be doing is I lied, not Underpass, Corey. Now, this is one of the iconic maps from the original MW2, but not necessarily for good reason. It's more or less just because of how like odd it is. Like you're in a quarry, and that's all you see. I feel like the layout isn't the greatest. Um, in this game, I feel like it honestly kind of plays a little worse. That could just be me. I feel like everybody's on one half with all the buildings. The other half doesn't really get used too much. When you play hardpoint, it kind of has to. But even in this game, the hardpoint doesn't really fix it. Still seems like there's some kind of issues. It plays really slow in my opinion. So yeah, personally not the biggest fan of Corey. Now, with that being said, Corey is gonna go in D tier. Actually, it's gonna be in our lowest in D tier. And then the next one that we are going to be doing is Estate. Now, Estate probably has one of the most iconic buildings out there with the main house. This house, I feel like in MW2 was like it was like if you win the house, you win the game. Like no one else cared about what happened on any other parts of the map. Now with this game with Hardpoint and how they kind of switch up the spawns, I feel like it kind of utilizes the whole map a lot better. Um, and you still get that iconic house, obviously, which one the hardpoints are in. I wish it was on the upstairs part, but it's in the downstairs. But besides that, this map, I also feel like in the olden games, it was like sniper only, basically. It felt like it was kind of like Wasteland in that sense, and in this one, maybe just players change or whatever, but I also feel like you see a lot more just versatility with different weapons and stuff like that, so it's not just sniping. But yeah, overall, I really do like this map. I definitely think it had upgraded since the original MW2. Alrighty, and now, with that said, state, I'm going to put right below sub base. Actually, yeah. For the next one we are going to be doing, though, it is going to be Rundown. Now, Rundown is a very interesting map. I feel like this one plays entirely different compared to how it used to in the old days, but I feel like that's partially due to the spawns. You spawn more on the same side rather than opposite, because in the old days it was one team would spawn one side of the bridge, the other would spawn the other like side of the bridge, and then like basically everyone would camp the bridges because if you don't cross the bridges, you don't win. So it was just a game of who could cross the bridge and who couldn't. But if you had one little menace cross the bridge, and he was wrecking havoc on your side, it was rough. But in this game, I feel like it plays a little bit smoother. You actually get to enjoy all aspects of the map too, because it was just the front buildings next to the bridge that you would use. Other than that, all the back building stuff that was not in play at all, just because none of the gunfights happened. So I feel like this game utilized the whole map better. And yeah, pretty decent map overall. With that being said, Rundown is probably going to go on the top of Mercado. Or top of C-list. Now, I don't know how, but I've been playing forever. Not forever, but I've been playing a crazy amount of hours on Quick Play to try to get Underpass. It's going to go D above Corey. I couldn't even get into a game of Underpass. No one likes this map. Um, so, yeah, it's in D tier. It is horrible. In Skid Row, I had 2 recordings of the game, and I don't know what happened to them. They got corrupted or something. But, with it being said, Skid Row is going to go to the bottom of my A list. Now, with that being said, obviously, I've never played any of these maps. So yeah, these are the main multiplayer ones though. And this is my tier list. I think it's pretty good. Let me know down in the comments what your tier list would be or what you would switch in this one. Go ahead, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.